Hello, my name is Heidi Woofenden again, and my project is called Call to Prayer, a cross-cultural examination of the effects of religious faith and modesty of dress on body image in Jordanian and American university students. And I have a little treat for you guys, hopefully it works. You can kind of hear it.
There's a
Actually,
volume knob on the...
So this is a traditional call to prayer. I liked that it shows the Arabic inscription and also the American, well, the English translation. And we would hear this very often in Jordan. It was quite amazing. Everyone just completely stops and you hear it over the loudspeaker. It's completely quiet and it's just such a magical time. So I wanted you guys to hear a little bit of that. But now back to research. Alright, so body image, as Caitlin was talking about, is a multidimensional construct that encompasses a person's perception and evaluation of their physical appearance and then the influence of these feelings on their behavior and basically their psyche. As Caitlin was also saying, it's actually normal for Western women to be dissatisfied with their bodies, which I find very startling. And Rodin, Silverstein, and Striegel-Moore actually coined the term normative discontent to describe this. Generally in the West, women have much higher rates of body disturbance, but men actually do have body image issues as well. They're just not as studied as extensively. And these are often more about being muscular and bulking up. So I also studied men as well. And these various body dissatisfactions can be associated with poor self-esteem, obviously anxiety, depression, sexual dissatisfaction, dysfunctional eating and exercise behaviors, and especially in men, use of potentially detrimental performance-enhancing substances like anabolic steroids. And there's a lot of research on body image in the West, but not much at all in the Middle East, and there's actually relatively little research on body image and religion and modesty in the West as well. Just a little bit about Jordan. It's a very small, neutral Middle Eastern country. You can see it's located right there in the middle of all those countries that we hear so much about in the news in that map. It's considered one of the most progressive, if not the most progressive, Middle Eastern nations. So that's part of why we're able to go there and so easily, well, fairly easily do our research. There's just a couple facts about it. The religious makeup of Jordan and the United States is pretty much opposite. Jordan is 92% Sunni Muslim, 6% Christian, and 2% other. United States, as you can see, is overwhelmingly Christian, mostly Protestant, with a large minority of Roman Catholics, and then only 0.6% Muslims. So a little bit about Islam as well. It's basically an all-encompassing aspect of life for Muslims. It's not like they can really separate their religion from their life. It just is their life, and it affects every aspect of their being. It actually originated from the same patriarch as Christianity and Judaism, Abraham, but Muhammad is their founding prophet, so it's different from Christianity, obviously, because Jesus is the prophet. The Sharia is the divine law, and there's many tenets of this Sharia, but dressing modestly and celibacy until marriage are two of the most important, especially for women. So there's been a bit of research on religious faith and body image, and it has generally found that faith and or spirituality of any kind does positively affect body image and self-esteem, and negatively correlates with eating disorders and other negative behaviors. Just a little bit about the Muslim women's dress. The hijab, which you'll hear me talk about, is the headscarf. The niqab is the full veil, which isn't as common in Jordan, but it is very common in places like Saudi Arabia. The jilbab is a loose-fitting dress, which many women wear, especially over actually westernized clothes. It's interesting. And then the salwar kameez is a pantsuit, similar. Oops. All right, so this is just a quote, a great quote by a young woman, Nahid Mustafa, which I think totally sums up what a lot of Muslim women feel about modesty, because many Western women think that it's a form of oppression and that they don't really want to dress that way, but a lot of them actually do. So I'm just going to read this. Why would I, a woman with all the advantages of a North American upbringing, suddenly, at 21, want to cover myself with the hijab and the other clothes I choose to wear so only my face and hands show? Because it gives me freedom. Women are taught from early childhood that their worth is proportional to their attractiveness. And side note, psychological research has shown this to be the case. Wearing the hijab has given me freedom from constant attention to my physical self. Because my appearance is not subjected to public scrutiny, my beauty, or perhaps lack of it, has been removed from the realm of what can legitimately be discussed. So here's a very different point of view on what we might think extreme modesty of Muslim women. The purpose of my study was to examine the effects of religious faith and modesty of dress only for women on various dimensions of body image in American and Jordanian college students. And a couple of my hypotheses were that greater religious faith and modesty would be associated with more positive body image, and that Jordanians would have greater religious faith and modesty of dress and therefore have a higher overall body image. The method, again, the participants from Jordan were from Yarmouk University in Irbid. We had 461, 292 women, 169 men. And then from Bridgewater State, we had 82, 57 women, 25 Americans, 25 men. And you can see the distribution of age and race. So the measures I used: multidimensional body self-relations questionnaire, appearance scales, again, is one of the most widely used body image measures. I focused for this presentation on 3 of the subscales: the appearance evaluation subscale, which basically just means how you feel about your body and your appearance. The appearance orientation subscale, how invested you are in your appearance, like Caitlin was saying, how much time you spend getting ready to go out, or anything like that, time, energy on appearance. Body area satisfaction subscale is more about specific body areas such as face, upper torso, lower torso, that kind of thing. And for religiosity, I used Santa Clara Strength of Religious Faith questionnaire, which is pictured here. And modesty, I modified slightly a version of the measure used by Musab in his article. And as you can see here, it's basically just they rate how often they cover certain parts of their body in public. And also, when the surveys were returned in Jordan, we coded whether the women were either wearing no head covering, hijab, or a full veil. So we did that for validity purposes too. So results. Here's just a little look at the sample. All the stars basically denote significant differences between Jordanians and Americans. So you can see there's a lot of differences, and the Jordanians scored higher on appearance evaluation and body area satisfaction, but also on appearance orientation, which was interesting to us because we would think that Americans would care more about their appearance, but that is not the case. And we definitely witnessed that in Jordan. We saw that they were very well made up and groomed, especially even the men wore very nice pants and shoes all the time. They were just all decked out. You would never see them in sweatpants. And then here's some correlations with some similar data, but you can see, again, the stars denote significant correlations. And across the top diagonal is the Americans, and across the bottom is Jordanians. And you can see there's very little correlations in the Americans and a fair amount in the Jordanians. And then I also did a multiple regression, and basically found that for women, culture, strength of fake, and modesty predict better body image on appearance evaluation and body odor satisfaction, but also appearance orientation. And then for the full sample, culture, gender, and strength of faith also predicted these three variables. So Jordanians, as I said, had significantly better body image on all scales, very significantly greater religious faith and modesty, and they were more appearance oriented. I think the reason that modesty wasn't really correlated with anything was probably because religion and modesty go hand in hand, so it might have been counting for the same amount of variability within the sample, and I obviously that needs to be explored further, but religiosity did predict better body image and was correlated with several of the body image measures. And for Americans, I didn't really find much, which is interesting in itself because it just shows that the two cultures are so different, especially on religion. And it seems that, like, well, we were going to start talking about before, that religion is a very big factor in Jordanians and maybe Middle Easterners in general in their body image and how they see themselves, and that it could definitely serve as a protective factor, but not so much in Americans, unfortunately. But hopefully I will be able to get more American subjects next semester, and maybe I'll find some significance, we'll see. The limitations, obviously, the unequal sample size. We didn't have too much time to collect American data, but hopefully, like I said, we'll get more next semester. Significant difference in age, although the age was fairly similar, the mean age, I guess it was statistically significantly different, so that could be a possible limitation. And also, like Caitlin was kind of talking about, BMI or maybe even their appearance orientation could account for some of the correlation or the prediction of the body image. So for the future, more American participants, report all my statistics. I have several other body image measures. I also included the drive for muscularity for men, but I didn't talk about it here under just the time, and eventually write my honors thesis about this. And so I just wanted to thank the ATP program, Teresa King, Kathy Frederick, Lee Torta, and Caitlin Baptista, and anybody and everyone who has helped and supported me. Thank you so much.